Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Today talking about wet weather gear specifically. We're having a look at the Cyclone Pro jacket from Highlander Forces. Now, just a little bit of information about this beforehand, kind of a caveat in the fact that this was sent to me free of charge by Highlander. I have a great relationship with them in the respect that all they want is some honest gear about their products. If I hated this, if I loved this, I'm perfectly able to hopefully illustrate that to you whichever way that it went. But yes, full disclosure, this was sent to me. Now, the time that it took me to review this was reasonably lengthy. I think, when did I get this? I got this at the beginning of May. So as far as the testing is concerned, I've been able to test this from May. In June, I went to France. I did a Go Ruck event in Normandy, which was absolutely amazing. And I did their beasting on the beach. I can't remember what it was called. It was called something different to that. But I wore this whilst wearing that, and it was absolutely throwing it down, and it kept me nice and dry. Got home from France, and then had the last 3 months of no rain whatsoever. None at all, but I wanted to make sure that I thoroughly tested this. So it took a little bit longer, and I do want to say a huge thank you to Highlander Forces for being very patient with me. But over the last 2 or 3 weeks, we have had a bit more rain here in the UK, which has meant that I've been able to get out. So Monday mornings I go on a 5 or 6k ruck with a buddy of mine, and in the mornings it has been raining quite a bit, so I've had this on. Even the other day, I've been talking to Mrs. Moorlander about wanting to test this more in the rain, and she was like, "Randy, it's raining in the garden." So I just went out, and it was a torrential rain, so I went out in the garden, stood in this for a good 20 minutes and was bone dry by the end of it. So very happy with the waterproof qualities on this. Now, as far as we're talking here, so this is a typical hard shell. So it's not a soft shell, this is a hard shell designed to keep you as dry as possible. It's made from a 3-layer laminated polyester, similar to other manufacturers. That as far as its water rating is concerned, it has a 20,000mm hydrostatic head, which is great. It's higher than some tents, but as a standard, generally they tend to be kind of around the 10,000 hydrostatic head. So this is double that at 20,000. Now, that does make you then probably wonder, well, does that mean that you're absolutely sweating your nutsack on the inside of here? Now, to illustrate a point, so today I've got a t-shirt on underneath here, and I'm also wearing my Arctis smock. And yeah, I'm warm. I'm not going to lie to you and say that I'm not. But as far as the breathability of this is concerned, it's 15,000 grams per square meter as far as the breathability of this is concerned. So it does a good job. Now, it does a good job. And I think it's so important to stress. I think most of us have a love-hate relationship with wet weather gear. It's great, it keeps you dry, but you do sweat in here, and especially if I was out walking, I probably would want to take this off to make sure that I don't sweat as much as I do in here. Now, on the mornings that I have been out rucking, I take about a 40-pound bag with me, and I just keep a t-shirt on underneath this, and then I have this on. And again, it does a good job of helping me to kind of breathe, my skin to breathe underneath here. I do still get sweaty, but at the end of the day, I'm out rucking. There are armpit zips on here, and it's a double zip, so whether you want to keep the zips at the bottom and zip up, or whether you want to keep the zips here and zip down, then you have those underneath your armpit. Obviously there's exactly the same on this side, and that does a very good job of allowing heat to get in and out, and because it's in your armpit, then there's less chance of that water getting into your arm, or at least getting in and getting you wet. So with 15,000 grams per square meter, 15,000 grams per square meter, yeah, I got that right. I've got 1,500, but yeah, it's 15,000 grams per square meter. It does a good job of helping to get some out. Now, that's not to say that if you put a lot on underneath here and you're out doing something heavily strenuous with this on, you probably are still going to get hot, but I think compared to some other wet weather gear that might be, say, 2 or 3 times the actual price of this, I think he does an exceptionally good job for something that comes, I think they're about either 110 or 120. I'll have a look on the website, and I'll put a link here, so I'll leave all of the links, of course. But for the price of something like this that is very budget friendly, it does an excellent job. Now, getting into the actual jacket itself, to start off with, as I usually do, so I'm 5'10". I've lost a bit of weight recently, so I've come down to about 14 stone. I've got a 46-inch chest. For me, I do something ever so slightly different with these. I tend to always buy the size above. When I was young, it's just something my dad and my granddad always used to say to me. They were like, "Son, when she says no, it doesn't..." No, they didn't say that bit. So what they did say is, there's nothing worse than being out, being caught in the rain, and then you've got something like a smock on like this, and then you're having to wrestle your jacket to get it on over the top. Usually I'm an extra large. With this one, I went for a double XL, and it means that being able to get it over a smock on top of here like this, then it's perfect. It may look a little large on me, but I have this system and it's never really failed me, so I always get the size above. And you know, the sleeves aren't too long. It's kind of just right for the fact that I did go a size 2 above. But what I would say is, knowing Highlander forces reasonably well, if you're usually a large, then go for the large, and that should be fine for you. So whatever the measurements are on the website, I'd certainly trust their measurements as, you know, being accurate. Now, we've already gone through the kind of the material. This is made from the actual other things that we've got on here. On the wrists, then you can button these down a little bit if you want to, so you have some hook and loop on here. There's a morale patch here. There are little kind of bungee bits on here, so you can kind of button these down as well. And then the zips on here, if I remember. So yeah, so these are SBS zips, and they are they're the AquaGuard style SBS zips. The zips are good. They do kind of get stuck sometimes. You just have to make sure when you're pushing this up, you're just looking down to make sure that you kind of follow the tract. That's not the zip's fault, that's not even the material's fault. If you're used to AquaGuard zips, now your normal YKK zips or even your normal SBS zips, they're usually buttery smooth, but because they have this membrane on here to stop the water from going in, you just have to pay a little bit more attention to you doing your zips up. Again, that's not a zips problem. Well, it kind of is, but you just have to get used to it. But you know, when you need to get this on, if you're in a pinch, you need to get this on quickly, you certainly don't struggle any more than you would do with any other manufacturer's zips. I think I talked about that a bit too much there, but yeah, okay, the zips are fine. Now, starting, oh, sorry, one thing I forgot to mention is, so on the inside of here, as you'd expect from proper wet weather gear, you can see here, so all of the seams on here, everything is fully taped. This is designed to be as waterproof as you possibly can be. Now, what I will show as well is, while I have this off, because I know a lot of people like to know about this, the thing with wet weather gear is this will probably spend more time in your bag. Hopefully it'll spend more time in your bag than you actually need it. But if you need to take it off, you need to put it into a rucksack. It folds away, rolls away reasonably small and compact. I will say, compared to some other manufacturers, again, which are 2 or 3 times the price of these, it does roll down smaller than some of the others. I probably could get it smaller than that, but you know, I just did it quickly just to kind of illustrate the point. Now, going round the actual jacket itself, it does have a large hood on here. The hood is huge. This is designed to be used by military. Oh, sorry, colours. Several. This is the Ranger Green version. There's a black version, and there's also a multicam version or MTP version as well. The hood on this is huge. It is designed to go over a helmet. So whether you're not in the military, maybe you're doing some climbing, some belaying, you're stuck at the bottom watching somebody, you've got your helmet on. You can put your helmet on underneath here. Oh, where's it gone? folded into itself. So you can put your helmet on in here. It's massive at the moment, but if you want to, so you've got some fastening points here at the front so you can tie this down. There's also one at the back, and then for when it's just kind of off, there's also a little Velcro bit here as well, so you can kind of keep it at the back of your neck a little bit better. It's not always out though. Of course, if you don't want it to be out, you're just using it maybe, I don't know, whatever it is that you're doing, then it does fold away into the collar. The collar is a really nice high collar. So if I get this on, zip this up. So if I just move my smock into there for a second, we can zip this up. Come on. There we go. Oh no, not all the way up, that was my beard. Yeah, so it comes reasonably high, and you know, it keeps the water away from your neck. And then when you've got your hood up, you can keep this close to your face. When you've got all those little compression straps, well, I said compression straps, when you've got the toggles here and on the back, if you're in a position where you need to make sure that it tracks you as you're moving your head, then it will certainly do that as well. Now on the front here, as far as the design is concerned, it's a reasonably plain and clear front. There's no kind of chest pocket here on the inside. There's no sort of additional pockets in here. This is designed to be used as the outer layer of a 3-layer system. So similar to how this 3-layer system is working here for me at the moment. I've got a t-shirt, I've got my smock, and then I've got my wet weather gear over the top of that. So if I need to put stuff in pockets, there's stuff on the inside that I can do that. On the outside though, you do have these 2 large pockets. Now these are very similar to the type of pockets that you get on a lot of these style jackets, and they're huge, they're cavernous. So the actual pocket itself goes all the way down here to the bottom. It's, oh, actually I thought it did go to the bottom. Right, so there's the cuff, there's the seam at the bottom with the cuff at the bottom, and there's the hem at the bottom, sorry. So there's probably maybe a 2-inch gap, which is about a 60mm gap from the bottom to there, but they really do go all the way down. Now as far as coming up to the top is concerned, so just here, kind of mid of my sternum, this goes across there, and there's a stitch on there which is taped on the inside, and then it fits. Now you can put your gloves, you can put a hat, you can put water, you can put whatever you want into here. It will also fit an ordnance survey map in here, so if you are out, you're walking, doing orienteering, then you can put everything into here and it will keep it nice and safe, including dog poo bags should you need them. The pockets are great. The zips on here, so these do open and close a little bit easier, but I think that's mainly because the material on here keeps everything kind of taut because you've got it on. So opening these are reasonably fluid. I think with this one on the front here, just not really struggling with it, but it's because you've got to kind of make sure everything's pulled together to do it. Now talking about the zip, although this is a fully kind of membraned AquaGuard zip, there is also a small membrane on the inside that folds behind that. Now I'm reasonably sure, you know, it's going to stop water from getting through there, but just in case it does, then that'll help it to kind of come down to the front, of your jacket. As far as the arms are concerned, we don't have any sort of bicep pockets on here. But again, I don't feel like it's missing bicep pockets. I mean, that's kind of it. It really doesn't need them. But on the on my right arm here, it's reasonably plain, and then on my left arm here, there is a morale patch section if you did want to put a patch on there. So yeah, they're the pockets. That's kind of it. Now, it's not dissimilar to a lot of the styles of other kind of jackets like this. Coming down to the hem at the bottom, now I forgot to mention, so the zip on here, you've got really nice zip pulls which do help to kind of bring this up, but then you also, it is a double zip. So if you're getting in and out of vehicles, or because you've got a smock on like this underneath, instead of having to undo this to get into the pockets, you can undo this here at the bottom so that you can get quick access to that. weirdly, once you've got this part zipped up, the bottom part's reasonably fluid. Again, because this material's kind of kept taut against your person, it's easy to be able to open this. And again, you know, you're into your pockets, you've got whatever it is that you need, or you realise that you've left in your pocket, take it out, put it into your other pocket, and then you're good to go. Now, if you do need to do some adjustment, you have some bungee. So here on my right hip, here on my left hip, you have those kind of pinch clasps. So if you need to open and close this, in fact, let's pull this so that it's all completely out. Now this is kind of, it'll end up looking like a bit of a skirt on me, mainly. As I mentioned, I got the size above that I actually needed so that I can get it on things with ease. But it goes down way past my butt, as I tend to have it, I pinch these in, about say 100 mil, lift it up like that, and then I'm kind of good. But if I need to, if I'm concerned about my bum getting wet, I can tuck it down like that, put my backpack on, and then I'm out, I'm good. Now what I will say about backpacks, if this is something that you kind of would like to know, especially if it's something that you look into with this sort of stuff. So when you have this on, where your backpack comes across here, it still gives you full access into your pockets because these are reasonably high. You can see here, it's quite high on my sternum. And then you can still get into your pockets. So if you're using a waist strap on a backpack, then you certainly won't have any issues with this at all. Now what I will say is, all in all, and I think kind of getting back to that original point, that I think when you're outdoors and you have a hard shell like this, we all have a love-hate relationship with this, with these kind of jackets, and that is the fact that you can get warm in these from time to time, but at the end of the day, I think for the price and the value for money that you get out of this, that it's got similar kind of qualities to other jackets that are 2 or 3 times the actual cost of this. It keeps you dry, it packs away really small, and it's there for when you need it. And hopefully, I mean, I pray for everybody that you'd never need wet weather gear, but unfortunately here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands and the rest of the United Kingdom, we tend to rely on wet weather gear, yeah, quite a bit. So there you go. Now, I do want to say a huge thank you to Highlander Forces for sending this my way. I also want to say, Dom, I really appreciate your patience with me. It has took me a little bit longer to get this content out, but luckily, considering the heavens have opened quite a bit recently, it really has just made sure that I could get out in some torrential rain to make sure that I can say with hand on heart that yes, that I've been bone dry whilst wearing this. So of course I'll leave some links below so that you can see more from Highlander Forces and where you can pick one of these up. I'll leave some of my social media links below as well so that you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel Moorlander Tactical, where we look at kind of more everyday tactical kind of stuff. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander and stay EDC. Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Today talking a little about... So there you go. There you go. Not that hot, honestly, not that hot. Very impressed. Ooh, what day is this coming out? I think this might be coming out on the Wednesday. I think it is. Anyway, cool. I hope you're good, and I'll see you soon. Is it time for a thumbnail?